Alrighty, hey everyone, I'm Joey. I'll be presenting my unknown bacteria to you guys. This is bacteria number 23. So, importance of identifying unknown bacteria. There's so many different reasons as to why you'd want to identify unknown bacteria. So many different fields would want to identify unknown bacteria. Just some quick examples. If you're in agriculture, you deal with food spoilage, different types of contaminants. Like those are big things for you. Why are your crops dying? Why are people getting sick from the canned goods? These are things that you want to learn how to treat, how to prevent, but you can't do that without knowing what the issue is. Another field like the medical professions, that's huge to them, trying to figure out what caused the disease, how to prevent it, how to treat it, how the bacteria behaves. That actually goes for any field. It's important to identify. You could categorize them, get a better understanding. That way, if you ever run into any sort of issues with the bacteria similar, you could kind of go about the same route to figure out how to treat it or also how to prevent it. So my methods of figuring out which bacteria I had was just use all the tools that were provided to us. Just take a step back. It could be overwhelming looking at everything. So just simplify it, look at the picture. That already narrowed down which dichotomous key to use, which also points you in the right direction as to which tests needed to be carried out, which results to look at. And unfortunately, we weren't able to conduct the experiments ourselves, but given the results, we were able to go through the process just the same way as we would have in-person labs. So this was my bacteria. Right off the bat, you could tell it's a gram-positive, rod-shaped bacteria. That's how I knew which dichotomous key to use and which test to carry out. This is not the entire dichotomous key. This is just the specific section that helped me narrow down and figure out which bacteria I had. So this here starts off with gram-positive rod-shaped bacteria. So this was where I knew to be looking. This is one of two tables of all the different tests that were carried out with their purpose, reagents, observation results, and my own personal interpretation. I just want to point out a few key tests that really made sure I was on the right track. Of course, the gram stain. If I got the gram stain wrong, there's no way I would have gotten the bacteria right. Um, these are some pictures of the other tests, like the TSA plates, the SIMDeep, the hemolysis. This is the second table of tests that were run. This one actually helped me more. I don't want to say more, they're all equally as important, but helped me narrow down as to which bacteria I had. Let's say like the coagulase test, or the catalase test. Those really canceled out potential bacterias. These are some pictures of those results. And now this is the part that I really want to focus in on. So this is my thought process, flow chart sort of thing as to how I figured out which bacteria I had. So I already knew it was gram-positive, and I already knew that I had rods. So I was looking at the catalase, which was also positive. So I already knew which track to sort of start going down. Next up was endospores and glucose. The fermentation test was performed and the results were positive for the endospore but negative for the glucose fermentation. So I knew to keep going down the right path. Next up was the VP test, because that's just like the next one that was up in line. And so the VP test came back positive, and that resulted in more tests having to be done, like the acid mannitol test. So that right off the bat ruled out the Bacillus megaterium. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but that right off the bat canceled that out. And so now I was down between the Bacillus subtilis and the Bacillus cereus. And based off of this test, I was able to determine that my bacteria was the Bacillus subtilis. So just a quick discussion about everything. So going through all the different tests and using the dichotomous key to kind of lead me to my bacteria, the key was the roadmap, and the test results was like the navigation, just kind of stringing me along to cancel out potential options. One problem that I found myself trying to deal with was, obviously we didn't do this lab in person, and so looking at the results, I just wanted to get a closer look. So it was a little difficult, specifically with, let's say, the glucose or the lactose fermentation, to kind of judge whether or not gas was present, and that could have thrown off the entire result. Luckily, I think I was on the right path and I didn't mess that one up. But a little bit about the specific bacteria. So my bacteria, like I said, Bacillus subtilis, it's a pathogenic bacteria, most commonly found in soil and other vegetation. It's not uncommon for it to be used as a fungicide on plants. It has the ability to secrete and produce antibiotics. It's one of the three main probiotics, often feed supply to dairy and non-dairy foods. So it shouldn't be harmful. It should actually improve health. Something unique about the bacteria is, because of its rod shape and its ability to produce endospores, it has the ability to survive in extreme temperatures. So that's how I figured out which bacteria I had, all the tests that I went through, results, my methods, and these are just some of my references that helped me out. So yeah, thank you.